Hello, welcome to my channel. A lot of people have asked me about my daily routine with the languages. My routine is perhaps a little different because I incorporate a lot of activities not related with languages in order to compensate all the activities that I do with the languages. You will see that I spend a lot of time, maybe around um, uh, 2, 3, even sometimes 4 hours a day with languages, and this must be compensated, so to say, because otherwise you will look like one of these guys that you go to the gym and you see like they have like big arms, but very thin legs, and it's kind of weird. Yes, we would say that a good athlete is a person that works all of his muscles, all his body. So should we. We should work on our intellectual abilities. Not only should we focus on languages, we should focus also, like if we are polyglots, we should also focus on other things like maybe mathematics, something extra, and not only languages. So you will see that in this workout there are a lot of activities not related with languages. I will not skip them, I will just mention them, and I will focus on explaining the language learning activities and how I carry them out during the day. So first of all, I woke up relatively early. And what do I do the first thing in the morning is making some exercise. I think making exercise, even if it is only like 10 minutes, I think it's a very good decision to start your day with some exercise. So I do recommend make some exercise. I spend most of the day here sitting down, and it is very important for a person that spends a lot of time sitting that there is also some physical workout, and that you make some exercise, some push-ups, some squat, that you go running, and in my case I also do some martial arts to move my whole body, so to say, and I usually do that in the morning, also in the evening. Then let's say that I don't have to work this day, because sometimes in my job, so this is not ideal. This is if you have a whole free day for you, maybe you can apply this. Obviously we all have our jobs and our daily activities that we have to perform in order to earn our bread. So, but if you have a free day, full free day, this is what I will do. Again, the exercise, and then, and this is something important, I have this. I will try to, maybe I can make a close-up later on. Okay. So this is a weekly table, and you can see here, this is the all the languages that I set out to learn, to study this week. Today is empty because it started today, so I will take an older one. For example, here, this is an older one, and you can see it's filled, and you can see these are the list of all the languages that I plan to study, and these are the different activities that one can do with languages. You can see here G for grammar, A for audio, listening, L for lectura, reading, S for writing, scribere, and C for conversation. You can see that the conversation column is kind of empty because usually I have a very poor social life, so I didn't have that week much time for talking with people from other countries. But the rest, as you can see, there are, especially here, especially in German, Latin, Turkish, and Arabic, I did spend a lot of time. This list is very particular. This is not random. The first entries in the list are priority, and the first and the bottom part of the list is kind of non-priority. So if I don't work the last 4 of them during the week, it's okay. I won't feel bad about it. But the priority part here is very, very important. So that's why they are on the top. And So for example, let's say I'm going back to the empty one. This is the beginning of my week. So since this is the beginning of my week, the first thing I want to do in my week is to go to the top priority ones and see what I have to do there. For example, I have in the top priority, I have English, I have German, Latin, Turkish, Arabic, Levantine Arabic, and Tunisian Arabic. Those would be like the top priority. English is priority because I want to do it every week, but I don't want to spend that much time in English because I need that time for other languages that I may need more help in. Because as you can already see, I'm not native speaker, but I do speak English good enough as not to worry about it. But that is not the case with my German. Like I do need to spend some time with my German weekly, and minimum 1 hour a week, and that is very bad, but still. So what do? I don't have that much problem with German grammar, but what I want to do especially is to be able to read fluently, because I like, my motivation to study German is reading philosophy. And I have a lot of German friends, so conversation is another huge point, but especially I'm very interested in reading. So I will focus in those two. So reading, these two columns, reading and listening should be dealt with fairly quick. So I have here, for example, I already talked about this thing that you should know why you study your languages. When I made that video about the polyglot, how to study different languages at the same time, one of the first things I did was to establish how important it is. What are you studying that language for? Your whole workout is going to change depending on what are you doing with that language. What is your goal with that language? Because my goal with German is more focused on reading, I will just take a good material to read. This is Deutscher Bundestag. I don't know if you can see. This is Deutscher Bundestag. Mutmaßliche Einflussnahme der Türkei in Deutschland. This is a very interesting topic. This is a very important document for me. So it's highly motivational. So I would spend perhaps how much time? Maybe around 20 minutes, maybe half an hour doing this. Sometimes 15 minutes. 15 minutes feel kind of short. So I would go perhaps to the 20 minutes mark. I think it's okay. And as you can see, it's on paper. There is no computer. Actually, you can see there is no computer here. If I want to, if I want, for example, to watch the news, I do take my phone. So again, reading, and we would complete first thing, reading, 20 minutes done, and then I would move to another language. 20 minutes of German, and I'm moving immediately to Latin. Now, Latin for me is, I want to actively use Latin, and this requires that I understand properly the grammar. Like in order to use Latin, I have to know Latin grammar very well. So I'm very focused on grammar study, especially active exercise in my grammar. So I have here a couple of books, Familia Romana, and this is like the main book, and this is an exercise book. You can see the exercise are in Latin. So I would again stay here. I would spend perhaps another 20 minutes. So again, I go to the column. I would go like this. I'm not doing this, but anyway, let's just fill it. We have done already reading German 20 minutes and Latin grammar 20 minutes. Okay, so we have already two things. Now I will move immediately, and the next one in the list is Turkish. Now Turkish for me, conversation is essential. Again, you can see that each language has its own goal. So Turkish is very essential in terms of conversation. So it's very important for me to read out loud, and I have for that a few things. I have a grammar book that is inside here. I'm not going to turn it on, but it's in here. I also have there some some text, and I have the recordings of those texts read by native Turkish speakers on the phone, so I could put the text here and I could just listen to it at the same time I'm reading. Sometimes, for example, I would stop and I would read out loud what I'm hearing, because I have the text in the ebook. Sometimes, if I don't want to do this, I can always go to a regular book and read from a regular book. I will put the link on the description of the video if you are interested in Turkish language, where I get all this stuff. Moving on, so let's say that I'm going to make some audio in Turkish for 20 minutes. We have already 1 hour of training, and we move on to Arabic. And Arabic, let's see what we have here in Arabic. This I bought recently. This is a very good book. Actually, this is kind of below my level, but it was brand new, and you know, it has a lot of drawings, and you can download the audio for this book. So, and the audio is the audio tracks are very high quality, so it sounds very good. So that's why I decided to take it, even if it is a little bit below my level. It's okay just to revisit a little bit the grammar. Again, then I have something more on advanced level here. This is another book. If you're interested in learning Arabic, this is your day. This is Árabe para extranjeros, textos de lectura, العربية للأجانب, نصوص للقراءة, and that is perfect. This is perfect reading material. So, for example, I'm almost at the end of the book, as you can see. I'm almost at the end, and we are talking, for example, in this chapter, it's about Nasser, a very prominent figure in the history of the Middle East, especially in Egypt and Syria. So we are dealing with this, and let's say that okay, let's choose. I will perhaps start with the grammar. So let's say that we achieved 20 minutes in grammar for Arabic. Let's move on then to the dialects. Again, the dialects are something that I need to speak, because Arabic is very good, but then Arabic is not spoken. Like modern standard Arabic is not spoken really. So you should move to dialects at some point. I chose 2 of them that I'm working on. I'm doing especially Levantine Arabic, and I'm doing also Tunisian Arabic, which is the other one. Yes, okay, yeah, actually, yeah, right. You see, I haven't written down anything, but it's something that I would usually, I try to, again, as I told you, I try to write down at least in 3-4 languages every day, as I've told you in other videos. So this is a very good time, because I've been focused more in activities, more kind of not passive, but you know, grammar, listening and reading are, you know, passive. Active, I would say, for example, is writing and speaking. Since I don't have anybody to speak with, I would try, perhaps now it's a good moment to move on to writing. So I have here some dictionaries that I'm making for myself. I will talk about this in other video perhaps. And I would go on and perhaps spend 10 minutes writing down, for example, making easy sentences, or sentences, natural sentences, things that I would say naturally to people. And let's say that I write down here, and you can see here I have Turkish. This is 10 minutes of Turkish. This is Polish, 10 minutes. This is modern Greek, 10 minutes. And this is Hebrew, 10 minutes. So in total here is 40 minutes writing. I also have this other volume here, and this is preserved perhaps for more personal content. This is kind of this is a present. This small notebook is a present. So I decided to keep it for more personal stuff in other languages. Here you can find, for example, Arabic and Turkish, and Latin and Arabic. So let's say, for example, moving on to the page, maybe I write down 10 minutes in Levantine Arabic, and we make another 10 minutes writing in Tunisian Arabic, and then we spend another 10 additional minutes in Hebrew, and we are already in 2 hours and 20 minutes of working. No, it's 1 hour 50. We are not yet in the 2 hours. 1 hour 50 minutes. So again, right now I keep going on, keep going down, and I'm here with Italian. So Italian, I can, for Italian, for example, is one of these things where I don't have to study a lot of the grammar, because Italian is so similar to Spanish, and I'm already studying Latin. For example, I can put the radio. I have here an app for this is my phone, and I have here an app for radio. So I can just pull on the radio and leave it there, and maybe, I don't know, maybe let's say that I spend 10 minutes listening to Italian in the radio, and then right down we find Polish. Now Polish is a very difficult language, so I think the basics are very important, so the grammar is very important. So again, I have here my ebook, and I can turn on my ebook and spend perhaps another maybe 15-20 minutes doing Polish grammar. So let's go to grammar and let's write down 20 minutes, and this is what I would do. Now we are already beyond the mark of 2 hours. This is a lot of time doing languages. This is a lot of time. This whole workout is already quite tough, because we have shift between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 languages already, and we have spent little more than 2 hours. Now this is a lot of action. This would be a good moment to perhaps shift to another type of activity. So let's, for example, bring some of the books I'm reading. This is Schopenhauer. I'm reading this book for the 3rd time. I also have other books. I'm reading also some Freud. I'm also reading some basic economics. So any of these, let's say that, for example, we can spend maybe half an hour with Schopenhauer. So let's say that we spend half an hour with Schopenhauer, and maybe this is a good moment also to make a little bit of a break, and perhaps, you know, do some extra exercise. Maybe go out and maybe walk a little bit, or just if you are an athlete, maybe it's a good time to spend maybe 20 minutes running or something like this, just to do something entirely different from an intellectual activity. Now it would be perhaps a good moment to go back to languages, or maybe it's a good moment also to do another more artistic activities. I have, for example, this is a sketchbook, and I have also different drawings here, and as you can see, so this also, it's as you can see, I have it right there, so it's very easy for me to take it. Like, for example, if you feel exhausted of learning languages, you can use another activity to just make a break on language learning and go back to it later. So if you are all the time jumping between language and language, maybe it's a good moment to 1 hour can be really tough. So just have a sketchbook, and, you know, just free your mind and do something entirely else. This is a good moment, for example, for introducing other things that I do. This is, as you can see, this is geometry, and again, this is an entirely different subject, and it's good that you shift from, for example, languages. You have made, let's say that we spend 2 hours studying languages, then we can move to read some philosophy, and maybe we can then go back, do another hour of language, again using the same methodology, just jumping between a language and type of activity. So I never do like grammar 3 times in a row. I do grammar. Remember we started with reading German, then we moved to grammar, Latin grammar. Then we made some listening in Turkish. Then we moved back to grammar in Arabic. Then we made half an hour of writing, and then we went back to listening to the radio in Italian. So as you can see, I shift constantly between activity and language. If once I'm done with this list, I will go up again and I will make another activity for that language. For example, we have done some reading in German. Maybe I could go and listen to the news in German, and I will shift constantly looking at this list. So basically, this list is kind of the tool that allows me to carry on this discipline. And I have, like, again, this is my journal, and as you can see, this is, again, all there is here are lists for everything. Oh boy, that's kind of the trick. That's everything there is to this. I don't do anything. I don't do any magic. I'm not particularly special. I don't do anything out of ordinary. I think I am just very serious. I'm very obsessed with methodology. I'm very obsessed with discipline. So as you can see, I'm always jumping between different activities. It's kind of tiring. It's very tiring actually to go from all the time from one activity to another, and it feels weird in time. But I think I managed to survive my own discipline, and I think I managed to craft a good workout. And this is something that perhaps it was the hardest. I mean, I've been studying languages like this for a lot of years, maybe 5 years, something like this. So this has been subject to many changes. This is what my workout looks like now. Maybe in 10 years my workout will look entirely different from this. But this is the result of all the years I've been working in languages. And I suggest that if you have a pet, you are blessed. I don't have a pet, but I have Lincecito, totally unexpendable. So try to have links around like I do, and I hope it was useful. I think it was too long a video, but I think it was okay. And I hope I don't want you to do exactly the same things that I do, but I very much would like to see how you apply this to your actual situation, to your studies, to your own workout discipline. So leave it in the comments. You are free to comment how do you manage to study different languages at the same time. Or if you want to apply my method entirely, just do it and let me know. I think that is all. Yeah, so see you next time.